In my hand is the Kodak Zi8 handheld 1080p video camera from back in 2009. But you know I like old AV gear. This is old AV gear. I'll check it out. That's coming up on ThriftyAV. On November 30th, 2009, my father and I went Christmas shopping to find a new video camera for my stepmother. She had been recording family memories on this. This is a Sony Handycam DVD camcorder. Now that's pretty convenient for watching in your living room. In 2009, everyone had a DVD player. But it wasn't so convenient for sharing online. And people were doing that. Social media was around very much in 2009. And you might ask, why not just get a smartphone? But at the time, the iPhone 3GS lacked 1080p video, and so did Android phones. I think the best they could do was VGA at that time. So the 1080p feature, it wouldn't show up till 2011, almost 2 years after we went shopping. In the pocket-sized form factor, the market leader was Flip Video. They'd been making pocket cameras since 2006, but when we were comparing feature sets between the Flip Video camera and this Kodak camera, this Kodak just looked better. The Flip had 720p video, this had 1080p. The Flip had internal memory. This Kodak took memory cards up to 32 gigabyte, which was a pretty big memory card back in 2009. The Flip camera lacked any type of stabilization. This has EIS, electronic image stabilization. Not as good as optical. I'll see how good the electronic is when I test this out. So based on that feature comparison, we decided to go with the Kodak Zi8. Let's dig into this a little bit. The first thing I want to point out on the Kodak Zi8 is the sticker on the front that says Facebook and YouTube. Kodak was not keeping it a secret what this device was being marketed for. Okay, over here on the side, here's your SD card slot. And down below it, here's the release for the USB. Now with this USB, it works for two things. It allows access to the SD card without removing it, and it also has software that is built into the device. It's Windows software. I wouldn't recommend installing it. You can use a lot of modern software to get the files off of this thing. On the other side, there's the barrel jack. That is 5 volts, so you can use a USB to barrel jack adapter to power this thing up. It is the same size as Panasonic camcorders. Underneath here is a HDMI. I believe that's called a mini HDMI. There are smaller ones on action cams. This is kind of the mid-size one. That's a 2.5 millimeter AV jack. And that's a 3.5 millimeter microphone jack there. On the top, you got a switch where you can switch between distance and macro for up close stuff, and the little mountains for more distant things. The built-in microphone is right there. This is threaded with 1/4" 20, so you can mount this on a standard tripod. All right, and behind this slider here, the back slides off, and there is the battery. And this battery, even though it's 16 years old, is still holding a charge. I might even buy a new one as a backup just in case this one finally gives up the ghost. But this 16-year-old battery is still working fine. To power this device on, you hit this button over here, and then you get the menu here. This middle red button here acts as a joystick, and if you push down, it'll record. There's no card in it right now. There is some built-in memory. but that memory is 100% full right now. It is not much built-in memory. You do want to use an SD card for this. The video options are 1080p, 720p, 60, and then 720p 30, and VGA, and then still photography. And there's only one size for the still photographs. If you use this little joystick up, it will zoom in. And if you push down, it will zoom out. And I'm really close to this pad, so I'm going to go to micro. Okay, and now everything's in focus close up. And that's where you want it if you're looking at something further away. If you hit the little gear, this lets you change the date. This will let you select between NTSC and PAL. This is the contrast on the LCD. That's if you want to turn the speaker on and off. That's the mic level. I believe the mic level only affects it if you're using the external mic. This is the image stabilization. If it's on, select the check mark. This will put a frame around a face, and what it does is it's not for focus, it's for exposure. You can format the SD card here, and then it tells you what version of the software you're using. And there's probably a way to do a firmware update. The SD card fits in pin side up. Okay, now if I hit the little playback button, I can access photos and videos that I've taken earlier today. All these are photos. For videos, if I want to play it back, I'll just hit the red button there and it'll play back the video. To stop it, I hit the red button again. And also I can trash anything that I don't want just by hitting this and then confirm that you want to delete it. But I don't want to delete that one. I thought that was a pretty good video. Let's look at some of the videos and photos I shot with the Kodak Zi8 today. And here is the Loch Ness lizard sculpture. Alright, I'm trying out the zoom feature. This is a digital zoom. Alright, right now I'm zoomed out all the way. And now I'm zooming in. Of course, with digital zoom, you lose resolution as you zoom in. As children, my sisters and I used to pretend that this old hospital was haunted. That doesn't take too much suspension of disbelief. I remember going down this stairway as a child. That's kind of scary. On my drive, I found this historical marker. I now have the camera handheld. It's windy, so I'll be curious to see how the mic reacts to that wind. Let's take a photo of this historical marker. That's the sound effect the camera makes when you snap a photo. Before I went on my road trip, I shot a photo of my bicycle. There were a lot of ducks at the park. This was after the sun had gone down. It was getting really dark here, so low light performance is pretty impressive. And here is another after dusk shot of the railroad tracks. To test image stabilization, I'm currently using the Kodak as a dash cam. I'm zoomed out all the way. I have image stabilization turned off and I'm recording at 1080p. Alright, I made one change. I'm still zoomed out all the way. I'm still recording at 1080p, but now I have image stabilization turned on. Now this dash cam, it doesn't have any type of buffer. It's just a tripod sitting on the dash of my vehicle. It is not on any kind of gimbal. There's no buffer, so the vibrations of the car will end up in the camera. We'll see how well the image stabilization deals with that. Checking the media info for one of the 1080p files, it is an MPEG-4 with the QuickTime codec. The format of the video is AVC. Video bit rate is 20.8 Mbps. It is a variable bit rate. 1920 by 1080, aspect ratio 16:9, 29.97 frames per second. YUV color space 420, chroma subsampling 8-bit, progressive scan. The audio is AAC 128 kbps, stereo at 48 kilohertz. I brought the Kodak Zi8 in the house and hooked up this external microphone to it to record this next bit. I'm recording at 1080p. I have image stabilization turned off because the camera is mounted to a tripod. Now I can't tell if I'm framed good or not. This is total guesswork. If it's framed horribly, I'll probably reshoot it. But if it's framed decently, I'll go ahead and keep it. I can't tell how it's framed because I don't have an LCD facing me. I guess I could plug in something to the HDMI and have a monitor or something, but I'm just going to guess, and hopefully I guessed right as far as the framing of this shot. So I messed up quite a bit using the camera today. I shot at resolutions that I did not intend to. I meant to shoot everything at 1080p, but I shot at widescreen VGA, a whole lot of the stuff, but that's a happy accident because I discovered something. The electronic image stabilization really doesn't seem to work at all at 1080p, but it does work at lower resolutions, and that kind of makes sense because if less of the sensor is being used to grab the image, more of the sensor can be used to compensate for shakiness. So the EIS worked way better when I was shooting widescreen VGA than it did when I was shooting 1080p. In fact, when I was shooting 1080p on the road, I couldn't tell that the stabilization did anything at all. In fact, I don't think it did. It looked worse after I turned on the stabilization when I was using it as a dash cam. But other than that, I'm pretty happy with the results that I got with this 16-year-old camera. And the fact that the battery is still going on this 16-year-old camera is also impressive. So it shoots HD, it shoots a long time before the battery goes dead. It accepts an external microphone. There's a lot of nice things about this Kodak Zi8 pocket camera. It allowed you to do things that cell phones would do later before cell phones would do it. Now that's also probably why these kind of pocket cameras disappeared. As soon as you could start shooting 1080p on a cell phone, you didn't need a pocket camera like this. So this technology disappeared as it got picked up by smartphones. If you enjoyed this video, let the algo know about it, and remember, stay thrifty, everyone.